dark goose pharmacy in a dollar bin. Guess you forgot your galana, but can't get loose. Get that wrong again. Rolling on your head, are you numb? I can go and get medication. I can deal with it. Every night, I can make it. That's what I feel. Stood by your side through all of the lies, watching you cry for me. Get on your knees, apologize please. No, why don't you die for me? I'm in the king, rule of things, when you get the rain. Get on your knees, apologize, no, why don't you die for me? I can go, medication. Late at night, I can deal with it. Every night, I can make it go. And if it goes, that's what I feel. were right this time, you were right this time. Take a look around, look what you did last night. What you did last night, never heard a sound. Yeah, I know that you told me one day you'd show that you were right this time, you were right this time. Oh no, now the truth comes out and I know that you want me about it. Shallow, you were only ever in for yourself, yeah, in for yourself. Oh great, fantastic, you must turn it on. Lie like you plastic, they got it so long. Over your antics, you showed me I'm wrong. I hope that you're happy now. Yeah, you're right this time, you're right this time. Take a look around, look what you did last night. What you did last night, never heard a sound. Yeah, I know that you told me one day you'd show that you were right this time, you were right this time, yeah. Rushing, hit your cards away for nothing. Time you told me you weren't bluffing. Guess I should have read the signs, yeah. It took so long to find. Oh great, fantastic, you must turn it on. Lie like you plastic, they got it so long. Over your antics, you showed me I'm wrong. I hope that you're happy now. You're right this time, you're right this time. Take a look around, look what you did last night. What you did last night, never heard a sound. Yeah, I know that you told me one day you'd show that you were right this time, you were right this time, yeah.
Echoes of your words crashing into me, drown me in your lies, and there's no way to breathe. And my walls will keep you down. I am safe without the sound of you around. It's getting colder, and I'm the storm that's taking over.
Two tags, he is the hero. Yevney, oh dear, showing the back to Ambition. Oh no, he received a shot, now he's a one shot. Oh dear, Yevney, can he survive? It's the $1 million question now, can he survive? He race. Oh my god, oh no, he found a whoopsie, he found a, oh no. Good evening everyone, we are back with the spring season, the second previous skill tournament. Tonight we start off with R3TI versus VE1L, and later on APA will be joining in the round of 16. Just wait for a minute. So I hope you already have time having a look at this one, the previous hill format. All games are played in the best of 3 series. That is, whichever team wins the first 2 matches will win the fixture. The format is a single elimination knockout stage with a match for the 3rd place, and the tournament is seeded by the average of the win rate of the 7 best players in the team. And that information can be found on the website. A team earns a number of cups depending on when they finish, and the leaderboard will rank team in the standing order of cups. Wait. the 9th to the 16th place would advance to the Challengers tournament. And the first day, which is yesterday, there are about 16 teams of one group, and we had 7 groups with 101 teams altogether. And the top 4 of each group would advance to the games held on the second day. And that means that the team needs to advance beyond the quarterfinals at least, which means the semifinals is the least that the team needs to achieve in the group stage. The second day there are about 32 teams, one group, and tonight we have 28 teams, so almost the full number here. All games are played in the supremacy mode. Here are the number of cups a team can earn in each stage. Tonight, both VE1L and also R3TI have already earned 330 cups, and that will increase as the team advances to the next stages. So we will see whether either of these teams will earn a lot more cups tonight. And the timeline is as follows: 26th of April to the 14th of May will be the previous skill tournaments. And finally we have the 19th to the 23rd of May in the professionals and challengers. And this is the schedule. The round of 32 will begin in around 11 minutes. And here we are. There are 5 matches, 5 games to follow tonight. So this is going to be a long stream. I hope you will bear with me and hope you will be very excited about tonight's matches. I will begin with Charlie seen as the captain of the team, also known as Freddy. And then we have Forever Green, Icky, Pencil Case, Orange Tornado, Tomka, Spitzy, Navai, Puki. Please correct me if I got your name wrong, which is not my intention. And the Yadi and 100% Rimmy account R3TI is here as well. R3TI, let me introduce them to you, because this is, I think this clan has some kind of history. Was previously invited to Blitz Premier Cup early in March. I can find you the passage, the information. This team consists of mainly Czech and Slovakian players, and they originated from the YG team, which used to play under numerous clans like Czech Predators, DZPRE, and Written in Blood, W1B. And this team was originally a PC control team, and they switched to touch control, and that is when they started the clan R3TI. And they gather more Czech and Slovakian players as the clan grows, and they eventually reached a top 16 back in the with 2 touch teams in the autumn season, and obviously in the winter season they achieved the top 16 as well. And their biggest achievement would be to achieve the top 12 in the winter season. In fact, I think it is top 12 if I remember correctly. And hopefully this season they can achieve further than that. And the players on average are around 19 to 20 years old. And the main caller is the Vi Puki, also known as Spore Life. And they have co-callers and tactic makers with Diadi, Forever Green, which is here, Charlie Simpson as Freddy, and Icky. And Spitty is their main medium player. And the latest newcomer, Pencil Case, forms the rest of the team alongside Tomka and Orange Tornado. Before the start of the season, they trained around 3 times a week, and during the spring season, because there are 4 previous skill tournaments per week, tournament match days per week, that would mean they could only train once per week after that. And their long-term goal is reaching the top 8, and the expectations for the season would be around top 10, they claim, and including beating Rackham, which I think is one of their main rivals, because they have been losing to Rackham for quite some time, and hopefully they can achieve this feat. And also not being worse than top 16 at the very least, and hopefully they don't get screwed up by seeding. But I mean, they have a 100% win rate account, so they don't have an excuse for that. And next we have Vale. We start off with Elysium as the captain of the team. And then we also have Yuri12, the Black Star originally from Carnage, Star, Far Rider, Vengeance 66, Tasted Killer, Real Easy Drop, Vabilo, also known as Eric or Kaya, spelled backwards. So Shapey will wrap up the team, who is the graphics maker for the Blitz Premier Cup. So he is a really good player. And another long passage here. So Vale was basically created by Lauro, Kirovets, and also Elysium back in November 2019, and they first wanted to create a German-speaking team, but this becomes quite difficult, and it's just because there are too few talented German players, or they are not interested at all in the German community. And since then, they try to get top 8 for every season, and sometimes they are a bit more successful, and sometimes not. That is mainly due to the seeding, probably, in the last few seasons. Most of them are from Switzerland, and some of them and Germany, and some of them are from the Netherlands, Russia, France, Turkey, and Czech Republic as well. And the team age is around 18 years old. Most of them study and are still going to school, but some of them work. Just for example, Eric and also Jorn, also known as Yuri12. So they really want to achieve top 8 this season once again, and they think they are capable of doing it. And I mean, on Wednesday, they were very good indeed, beating Endgame 2-1 and came up really close to Serenity 1-2. I mean, all these 3 games are very, very tight. And soon we will be interviewing both R3TI and Vale, so one of them will be eliminated very soon in the first game. So after that, we'll interview either R3TI or Vale, and then we will interview the other one. So stay on this stream and you hear some amazing insights from both of them. And finally, we have APA. I forgot that. An APA. I will show you the lineup for you, and very quickly, if I can get you the, we'll change the screen. If I can get to it correctly, it's going to be Yennefer as the captain of the team. Osseo, 2 Osseos here, which I forgot, one of them changed their names obviously, and then we have Manfak. Don't be fooled about the 100% win account. That player has been playing in tournaments from time to time, so it's not an account that is just for the seeding. But obviously it's quite sus, to be honest with you. But anyway, The Witcher, we also have Ernest, also known as Ernest ZD, Sinkier, Nika, Machinek, Good, MM, and RNG needed. Another 100% win account at Visnia. We'll be wrapping up this team. So this is APA's team. Didn't say anything about later interview, but this is the coverage for you. Fujit will be following Raid vs ASP, and then IW bracket thereafter on until the finals. Eminet will be following Reckon vs Lager, and she will be following all the way to the finals. I'll be following R3TI vs Bale, and then APA's bracket through to the finals, and Eri will be following A1N1 versus Serenity all the way to the third for the match for the third place. And before I jump into the room, someone asked me to do a shout out, and that's at C-Dub. He just recently achieved 300 subscribers, and he's on his way for 400. Please tell me if I got your pronouns wrong, but go check out his channel, and maybe you'll find some good content. And apart from that, we'll go into the battle, the battle room. Or the training room, I don't know. Is there an official term for that? I think there is an official term. The match room. We call it the match room. So here we are. We have R3TI and VE1L both ready up, and we'll hop into the room into the battle very soon. I will begin with Black Goville, which is quite a common map. Recently in the previous year tournaments. This is quite a big map, an open map actually. I'm not sure if it's big because every map has the same size and it feels differently from another based on the terrain, in my opinion. So Black Goville, such openness will favor favor medium and light tanks for sporting and also for rotations. And because it's also quite open and not enclosed, that means if you it's somewhat easy to get isolated, but you can work your crossfire as well. And it also feels quite large because there are not a lot of buildings apart from that factory side on the southeastern corner. So it is common that both teams would take clipper tanks, and that would become very useful if one of the team does not have the cap lead, and if they need to rotate, they will make use of those clipping tanks and shut down isolated tanks. And that is what VE1L is doing here. They are taking triple crown wagons by the Black Star and Vanilla. And R3TI is also taking double crown wagons by the Vi and Iki. This is also a map with some terrain, so hold down tanks are preferred in this situation, but IS Force are also an okay choice. But the problem is because this map feels quite big and a little bit open as well. Very slow heavy tanks are not preferred, so German heavies are not preferred in this map, and IS4, although it has some mobility, I think it can work, but probably on the seaside, in my opinion. And you can see both teams taking at least two mediums or lights, so we're heading into this match here. Don't know what happened. Nightbot just deleting the match stages. Here we are, and we have Aki Dawai in Double Crown Bargain, Charlie Zine or Preddy in the T22, Triple T125 by DRD for Evergreen, and Tomka Spitty in the Vickers Light. And on the other side, Elysium in the T22, Tastin Killer, and Vickers Light, Double T125 by Yont and Valrider. R3TI on the south side, Red Team, Blue Team, VE1L, no spawn. So I think let's follow closely with Tastin Killer and hello to Kumi. He's going to get some shots into Aki potentially, but Aki might be able to get some shots in. He isn't able to chip away hit points of Tastin Killer, but look at this. A might be attempted to be captured by Elysium right here, but he might be de-angling his spike armor a little bit. And he got actually reset by Charlie Scene here. Tomka can put a shot in, but good shot from Elysium into Tomka. Whoa, that was a big shot into Charlie the Scene from Yuri 12. Hello, Feldgrau. So C is going to be captured by Spitty. That will hand R3TI the cap lead here. We're just going to wait for a moment. VE1L not far behind with a cap. That means VE1L would need to do the rotation, but they only need to kill one tank to swing it back to their favor, or they do a temporary cap stop on C or capture B. But because R3TI's the team that is defending, all of their attention will be on both B and C. But this could be a little bit difficult though, because B can be quite enclosed. But then you have Forever Green there to reset B, but he is also in the open area. So R3TI defending the bases could be a little bit difficult. Meanwhile, VE1L is really pushing up their line. Something similar that I saw with Phoenix against A1N1. Phoenix pushing their line up very aggressively. But what happened thereafter is that isolation is what cost Phoenix the game. And we are seeing Star potentially the isolated tank right here. But he is going to receive a lot of pressure if R3TI realizes this. Star could be down in a matter of seconds, but on the other hand, VE1L could rotate and support Star. So here we go. The Charlie scene is very, very. Oh, didn't know that you got. But I thought you were saying like you had less than 1,000 subscribers to 400, so I don't know what happened there. So here we are. Charlie scene taking a position similar to A1N1. Oh, come on. It's a tongue twister for me. But I mean, this is very, very lethargic at the moment. There's not a lot of action happening, and R3TI still holding, but they're gradually losing hit points. And this is what not really what I'm expecting right now. VE1L is trying their hand on B, but R3TI not defending B at all. I'm not sure what's the game plan of R3TI here, but on the other hand, R3TI is making a big push onto Yori 12. Yori needs help, and he is really isolated. Does he have any help from VE1L? No, VE1L is just ignoring Yori 12 at the moment. So we're going into Devi is actually tracked. He has used up all his consumables, so Devi is actually the first tank down. Meanwhile, we have Splitty the next tank down potentially. He is really unhealthy in that Vickers line. Just one more shell, and he will be no more. And it is going to be the case for Rider kills of Splitty, and the hit points are still with VE1L. They got two bases, but absolutely R3TI can capture A, but C is going to be captured by VE1L. So R3TI needs to kill off the tanks as soon as possible, but they don't have a lot of hit points. So this is going to be really hard for R3TI. And I'm not sure ignoring A would be a good idea though, because now both Charlie Scene and the Yard is now really low. They killed off Varmillo, but Charlie Scene is also killed, and VE1L just touching distance from winning this one by caps, and they won this one by caps actually. Well done to VE1L, and it seems ignoring Yori 12 is a good idea. It's just they can focus on the other side, because R3TI has two isolated tanks compared to Yori 12 in a T175, one tank there, and R3TI focused on Yori 12 with all their forces. And I think questions will be raised whether R3TI has made a good decision to abandon abandon B for the defending maneuver, and it was going to be a huge costly mistake there. VE1L 2 tanks doing more than 2k, R3TI 1 tank doing more than 2k sadly, and I hope R3TI would need to, I don't know, maybe they should react more quickly, or maybe they should set up better in defending their spaces. And VE1L able to capture B without getting punished at all is quite... They got away with it, to be honest with you. If it is actually, I don't know, if it is well defended, then that capture on B would not be as smooth as it was meant to be. What happened there? Julian, so... Well... Hello, Laser. So here we are, the second match. R3TI, they're going with triple crown wagons, double T125, Splitzy in the Vickers Light, and Charlie Scene in the T22. VE1L going with quadruple T125s, with Black Star, Valrider Star, and Yori 12 Varmillo in the crown wagon, Tustin Killer in the Vickers Light, and Elysium in the T22. So VE1L, maybe they're going for a cap lead strategy so that they can sit back and defend, while R3TI looks like to be allowing VE1L to get a cap lead, so that when they need to rotate, they can find their ice tanks and rush with those triple crown wagons. Maybe that's the game plan for both teams here, and if actually R3TI gets the cap lead first, the crown wagons might be not the best tank for them to hold. But we will never know. I think VE1L has more of a flexibility in terms of the strategy they can deploy. But you can't say for sure, to be honest with you. So let's see what both teams are going to do on this map. VE1L, blue team, south spawn going mostly to A and B, potentially R3TI. Already, Spitty getting the spots up, spotting up the Black Star and Tasting Killer, going down. He doesn't want to take a hit there, obviously. And the VE1L actually is a bit passive, so I'm not sure if they are using the same initial strat. But it seems that VE1L is allowing R3TI to capture a base though, but C is going to be obtained by R3TI, which means R3TI will have the cap lead, and Charlie C is running away with Yuri to have a good shot there, and C is now captured by R3TI, and Charlie C, is he going to go back to reset A? Apparently not. So that means VE1L will get A without any trouble at all, but that doesn't matter, because R3TI has one cap. Once again, they just need to defend, and VE1L just need to find that rotation. But with R3TI going with triple crown wagons, that could be a problem here. Of course, the crown wagons have low DPM. They don't have the reactive armor like the T110E5, although they have some hit points. That could be a problem for defending, and they are the best with rushing or doing a boom strategy. And VE1L, with a lot of T110E5s, if they rush with those T110E5s, they can absolutely make use of the reactive armor. But the RD is going to capture B, not getting challenged at all. VE1L not in position to do that. That would not give a lot of time for VE1L to rotate, and you see right now the T110E5s are rotating to C. VE1L with that rotation, I'm not sure if it's going to work because they're losing quite a lot of hit points trying to rotate into C. Now they're down by more than 2k hit points, and that could be very bad indeed for VE1L with Star. Now a one-shot. Oh dear, it's now going to die very soon. The DRD is looking for Star, and on the other hand, 3 versus 2 right here. VE1L is still very, very disjointed here. They try to get B, but that would mean those 5 R3TI's tanks going to shut down those T110E5s, and they've shut down Star right there. Valrider is going to be the next tank down for VE1L. R3TI is really commanding, getting the map control here. Forever Green is looking for Yuri 12. Yuri 12 is in loads of trouble here. Elysium is now down to one shot here. And Yuri 12, how long can he survive? Elysium is now down. It's now 7 versus 4 right here. And the Yuri 12 tracks Forever Green, and he's going to go down to Spitty. And it is the case. R3TI has 2 caps compared to R3TI with 1. That doesn't matter because R3TI has 885 cap points right here, and the next tank that is isolated will be VE1L or the Black Star. They're going for VE1L probably, and Pencil Case is going for B here with the RD now down. Actually, VE1L it's having some breathing space here, but that won't be for long because the Black Star is doing 1 versus 2 right here. With the Black Star putting a goose shell into Forever Green, and it's going to be all over for VE1L very soon. B is recaptured by R3TI, leaving VE1L with only 1 cap. Tomka is just sitting behind, not allowing VE1L to get any shots into that. Bounces occurring. Black Star still alive, and he's killed by Eki, handing R3TI the win. That was a good game for R3TI and VE1L. Same problem with R3TI last game. Well, we can't really blame VE1L this time because R3TI has the cap lead. And capturing B seems to be a little bit of redundant for R3TI, but VE1L didn't have any tanks to reset that. And while VE1L is trying to rotate back from the spawn, they got absolutely outsported, and those T125s were made to pay for that rotation, and Star unfortunately could put one shell in and receives a ton of damage instead. So Veil, that rotation was completely predicted by R3TI, good defending and maneuver from them, and we are now onto Oasis Palm, similar to Black Gopher in quite a lot of ways, another open map it is. So a lot of mediums and lights would be advocated on this map. I love to see some TDs here because it's such an open map and you have some high terrain near the spawns of both teams, and so we saw at times how good a TD can work and operate, and you can absolutely rotate with that TD if you got the desert side. But we are witnessing a lot more. I mean, we might see a mouse here in the middle, but none of the teams are taking that exactly. And here we are, we have Charlie Scene and T22 Spitzy, the Vickers Light, Orange Tornado in the Ice for double Crown Wagons by Pencil Case and Divide, double T125s by Diadi and Nicky, Veil going with double T125s by Elysium and the Black Statastic Killer, T22 double Crown Wagons by Valrider, and Star and Valmilo Star in Glory 12 in the IS4. So that was a good game for R3TI. Defended much better than before, and I think Veil, a big mistake was to capture B when A side got absolutely isolated, and like the rest of R3TI's team is coming here, is coming in to shut down those tanks in the corner, and they got outnumbered, and you don't need like 2 tanks into that cap, because really that sends signal to R3TI to just be quick and be clinical. Red team on the north spawn, Veil blue team south spawn, tiebreaker on Oasis Palms, and it's so close to call. I don't know. Veil, both teams really need that win because R3TI, they are trailing in the top 16, and Veil, they are on the cusp of getting out of top 8 despite a really good showing in the first previous skill tournaments with Veil already obtaining C, and that would hand Veil the cap lead. Elysium taking some heat, some HE splashes, and but didn't get shut down by a lot. Oh, Charlie Scene spotted that T22, is running away. Good shot by Tastic Killer, I think. And the orange Tornado is looking at B. Valrider. Well, I'm not sure if it's a good idea here. Aki is there. But Valrider is going in a very tricky position, and if Veil doesn't conserve enough hit points, that could be a problem here. But it's going to be R3TI that needs to make a rotation, and if you want to rotate from A to C, that could be difficult because you're rotating out in the open and you don't have any buildings to support you. The dunes are very low, so for me, rotating from C to A is easier to rotate from A to C, and R3TI needs to do that because they are down in cap points. But absolutely, they can try to get into B, cap it out, but getting out of that would be difficult. So my take would be that R3TI would initiate a rush on one side, and with Orange Tornado to get B, to snatch B from Veil, and that would mean Veil would have lots of pressure in killing all the tanks of R3TI. That's the game plan, I suppose, R3TI is thinking at the moment. So the pivot would be on Orange Tomato, and you know, the handle that, yeah, would be those tanks near their spawn or the enemy spawn, and they are piling up on their spawn. They know R3TI is going to rotate on one flank, but they don't know which flank it is, and they are guessing that it's going to be their own flank. Shapey in that IS4 has spotted up those double T125s, so that means R3TI are rotating through their spawn, and that could be a good idea because R3TI are rotating to the spot, to the position where Veil is not heavily fortified on, and you know those heavy tanks don't have good accuracy and they are a little bit slowed up and they drop their speed boost, so R3TI might not be able to do something, but as I said, red team with that orange tomato is going to get B, and that's a good idea indeed. And that could bring VE1L, well, they can see a lot of tanks now out in the open. Oh, VE1L seems to fall apart with their formation a little bit. And VE1L is in loads of trouble here, but red team at the same time, the focus fire is not there. VE1L could absolutely make use of the lack of focus fire that red team is showing at the moment and punish them. Now we are seeing here is now 3 versus 4 versus 2 actually, with Star the first tank down. Hit points are neck and neck here, and VE1L are down in, no, VE1L are now down in hit points, but it's going to change very soon with Eki now one shot. This is really close to call. VE1L is now dead by Charlie's seed, and Eki is now a one shot, and the orange tomato is very low. It's still really close to call, but the focus fire from both teams can be a problem, but red team has less of a pressure because they have more hit points, they have caps. VE1L needs to kill the tanks as soon as possible, but they're not really doing so. Their lineup is very sparse, and that makes it easy for red team to kind of focus them down one by one, and red team got the game in the end. Well done to red team. I think that was a push. That was a half-hearted push, but I think that is what they need. They want to elicit a response from VE1L, and when VE1L responds to that push from red team, 2 tanks in the middle gets B and gets some good crossfire into VE1L's responding tanks, and that was a beautiful gameplay by red team, and that means red team are through to the round of 16, and they will be facing APA next, and VE1L sadly will be out of the round of 32, and very quickly we will have VE1L in the chat, and yeah. Imagine writing chat in English streams. Well done to red team. Brilliant gameplay indeed. 4 tanks doing more than 2k. VE1L only 2 tanks doing more than 2k, and I think VE1L looked a bit lackluster today, and they seemed to fall under the trap of red team from time to time. And I think realistically, VE1L strategies in the mid to late game phases are not quite strong tonight, so that could change. So here so far we have red team 2-1 against VE1L, and I think results are coming in very soon. Okay, let's see. We'll wait until VE1L responds to my DM. So we have WNRS against Zenith, so who won that game? It's going to be Zenith 2-0 against WNRS. I think Zenith was playing really well so far this season. I think Sam Jeffries would be very happy about that. Next we have ASP vs Raid. It's going to be ASP losing to Raid 0-2. And they will be facing IW next. Okay, we know red team 2-1 against VE1L. Next we have BPS second team against Gravitas team. Locus second team against BPS or the Gravitas team. Where is it? Is it still? Are they still playing? Okay, it's going to be Gravitas 2-1. That is. Right, so I'm glad to... And then we'll be facing POG. Alright, next we have Loka first team against Iveco. And it's going to be Loka winning Iveco 2-0. No no questions about that. Next we have Sia versus Tasios, and it's going to be Sia 2-0 against Tasios, which is good to see. Sia, I think, a relatively new clan. I only saw them in the winter season, so glad they are through. We have Endgame versus DWF next, and Endgame would be through 2-0 against DWF. Next we have A1N1 against Serenity. And it's going to be Serenity 2-1 against A1N1. Oh, Serenity has to play in a tiebreaker against A1N1, so that's not ideal indeed. But next we have FE207 versus Drink. It will be FE207 losing to Drink 1-2. And then we have Rackham versus LGR. That is streamed by Eminat, and Rackham won against LGR 2-0. Hello, Biscuit. And we have Kraken Esports against Fuha. Kraken Esports was very, very impressive against IW yesterday, and they won against Fuha 2-1 as well. And we are now left with BPS versus UN. Magiputes team, which is going to be 2-0 for Magiputes. And that concludes the round of 32 games right here. So in the round of 16, here are the teams. We are seeing Shadow against Zenith in the round of 16. Drake versus First Team Floka. And IW versus Raid will be streamed by Fujit Splits. Raccoon versus Sia will be streamed by Amunet. APA versus R3TI will be streamed by me, and that's going to be another tight match. It is Kraken Esports against Endgame in the round 16, and then we have POG versus BPS, or Gravitas team with Magiputes. BPS versus Serenity next. The round of 16 is going to be as follows. Doesn't seem like Babilla wants to be interviewed, but he's a little bit upset, probably. Maybe when he calms down, then a little bit, then he will join me in the chat. Alright. Thank you very much. So far, 31 views. Can we get third at that? More than 50 views, and that would be brilliant indeed. And let's update the scoreline. Update the leaderboard. Thank you very much, Biscuit. So, if we can go move it to here. Alright, so endgame so far in the quarterfinals, in this round of 16. Raid in round 16, Serenity round 16, BP, Magiputes round 16, Loka round 16, APA also round 16, Veil are out in the round of 32. R3TI is through, so I'm very happy about that. Fuha, where are you, Fuha? It's out, sadly. Kraken Esports are through, so well done to Kraken Esports. Kraken Esports Rackham are through. WNRS are out. Zenith are through. Sia are through. DWF are out. And SP are out, I think. Yeah, are out. So this is the leaderboard. Don't worry, Biscuit. Okay, so the new table would look like that. Serenity currently in the first place alongside APA, A1M1 Rackham IW Endgame BPS. VE1L knocked out in the round of 32. They're now with 10,832 cups. And basically they have to pray that any teams below them don't advance further than that. And that probably won't be the case because Zenith will be facing Shadow next. And either one of them would overtake VE1L anyhow. Because apart from maybe or if I do the math here, the quarterfinals and the round 16 only differ by around 258 cups. So for Shadow, they will get for Shadow, if they go through, they will get 10,900 and oh no, 10,900 cups. Exactly. So VE1L in any way will be out of top 8 for tonight, and Zenith are very close with Shadow at the moment on the leaderboard, so either one of them can get into top 8, but maybe Baggyput's team, if they beat Serenity, that can be a different story. Raid, if they beat IW, also a different story. And R3TI so far has done a really good job, and if they advance further, they can further secure their spots in the top 16. And you will never know, the sky is there. The sky is limitless. Sia with a good win, and they are now into the right, I'm going to do a very quick interview for VE1L, and we are going to go. Hello, VE1L. Evening. I'm just going to keep it brief because the next match is around 3 minutes. So, commiserations to your team, but some really good performance against R3TI at times. So, what do you think about your performance tonight?
Our performance tonight was not the best. We had some personal mistakes, not panning shots again, right. Just like yesterday. It was just kind of dramatic. It was I can't say much more than that. R3TI played good, but we played really shit.
Yeah, I can understand the disappointment here, actually, but I mean, you had a really good first Freedom Skill tournament, so so before we end this interview very quickly, who do you think would be the toughest opponent, and who do you think would be the clan that you want to face during the previous skill tournaments?
Who we want to face or we don't want to face?
Both.
A really strong team in the lineup right now is, I would say, either Loka or EG. Endgame really is a really good clan, but we just got lucky, in my opinion, and they just had a bad day, and I think that's why we won on that day. It's nothing special, but I think Loka is also really strong.
True.
So yeah, I'm excited to see how they're gonna get into the top 4.
Right, I'm sure it will be very good learning experience if you get to play them once again. So thanks for your time, and good luck to the rest of the season, and thank you very much for the interview. Yes. See you later then.
Thank you. See you later, Jack.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay, just in the room was VE1L, a player in VE1L's team, doing some post-match thoughts. We couldn't do it for a really long time because of the time constraints. We only have 1 minute left to go, actually. And it's going to be APA versus R3TI. Vineyards. So far we have gone through the media maps. Vineyards is another media map. So you'll be expecting a lot of mediums and lights once again, and a lot of hold down tanks. A lot more terrain than the previous 2 maps. So tanks like IS4 and Mouse would not be ideal because it's going to be hard for them to work with terrain and terrain resistance. It's just not good for their gun and their mobility, and that's why you might be expecting a lot of mediums and lights in this situation, and a lot of Kranwagens and T125, but that doesn't seem to be the case with APA taking one mouse and one IS4. On the other hand, I will change this very soon. I'm going to apologize because I haven't got something right here. So if you can bear with me for a moment, I will come back very soon. Okay, oh, I see why. I apologize, I have to change a lot of things, so I'm going to be off for a little bit, and I'll be back very, very soon. If it's the right one, that will be good. No, it's not right. Sorry. Is it right? Finally. Ah, there we go. It's right. And let's change the clan logos as well. I apologize for the wait once again. Not a lot of commentary. You're going to miss quite a lot. Sorry. And APA's on that side. R3TI's on the other side. I think we're seeing already action happening for APA. And I apologize, still going on. I'm still changing stuff. And here we go, round of 16, and here we are. Great, got a lot of action already happening. We're heading up high once again. Already Charlie's seen is dead. Apologize for quite a big portion of the game being missed right here. But Spitzy's looking for Sinky and Ravnica, and he's now one shot. And both Sinky, Ravnica, and Spitzy are now dead. But APA got 2 caps, so this is going to be hard. But you are seeing Machinek now down Yennefer being ignored at the moment there. They want to rescue Forever Green and Manfak. And it seems to be really good for R3TI at the moment, because Yennefer is going to go around the map for quite a while. But I mean, at the same time, you also have the T125s and Kranwagen being quite immobile. So if they kill off Witcher very quickly, then they will be able to get B or C, because now the caps are still not in their favor, and already losing the Vi can be a big problem. They need B, and they also kill an R tank near A, so that is going to be really, really hard. They cannot lose another tank. R3TI is still struggling in the caps, and APA just only 10 more cappers until victory, and the first game will go to APA. Sorry for missing quite a big chunk of this match, but it's really good job by APA with that win. Very solid win there. Think R3TI was able to isolate the tanks, but APA simply getting 2 caps was so important to apply cap pressure onto R3TI, and here we are. The first match will go to APA. Alright, so second match, it will be Yennefer in the mouse, Visnia, FB215B, Ernest, Vicky's Light, Sinkier, Vika, Ice for Triple Crown Vargas by Manfark, Machinek, and The Witcher, R3TI. This time we'll be going for double 140s by Spitty and Diardi, and Bat Chat by Charlie, triple T125s by Panzer Case, Wherever Green, and Tomka, Davai, and Kranvagen. So APA are dropping the mouse here with Yennefer changing into the Kranvagen, and they are not using any ice for this time. They're going with lots of hull down tanks and one light only, and R3TI might be going for a double TVP, and that could work with the clip potential they have. Can put out in total 2,400 for both TVPs. Oh, triple TVPs. This is going to be really, really interesting. I'm not sure how it's going to work in this situation, but can have a lot of burst DPM, but I don't know, the raw DPM can be a problem here. I have no idea, but I don't feel really good about R3TI's lineup they are displaying right now. In APA, they just need to make use of those armor, and they should have a substantial hit point pool advantage with the 3 Crown Bargains. And that means R3TI needs to trade a lot better than APA in order to win this one. And I'm not sure this inherent advantage could prove too much for them. R3TI is down by 1.2k of hit points. This is not good at all. Feldgrau and Diggy Dongi just shouting R3TI and APA. Well, come on, we need fans for both R3TI and APA shouting their team. Can anyone translate what it means by that? Diggy Dog. But anyway, R3TI with triple TVPs are going into the northwestern corner. Spotted up Visnia already, and A might be getting reset. So we'll see. Spitzy. No, APA knows what R3TI is going to do. They're getting out of A. It's not possible for them to get it. On the other hand, Ernest might be getting C without any trouble at all. And Vickers Light, who can spot that Vickers Light? I don't think anyone can. And Pencil Case crossing through the ridge could take a better route there, actually. Visnia getting shot at by the TVP potentially. And look at APA's defending. Oh, Visnia! It's taking some more hits there, a little bit of unnecessary. Oh no, he's taking more and more hits, and that is really, really bad for Visnia. Is now down to 1 shot for God knows what reason. R3TI is now up in hit points. I think APA would be very angry about this. It's not part of the game plan, but Visnia is now down. Killed by the RD. 6 for 7. APA lost the tank so quickly within 2 minutes, and they still have all the tanks full health. It's not over for APA yet. R3TI 7 tanks, substantial cap lead, and APA 6 tanks. How are they able to do it? R3TI just need to defend both A and B, and they should be able to win this one. APA needs to find a weak spot in R3TI's lineup, and Pencil Case can be the weak spot here. If the Double Crown Vargans and the T125s are able to pencil Case, it can spell trouble, but you never know. R3TI is still defending. Yeah, that lacks because I was changing this stuff the overlay. I am really sorry for missing a big chunk of that match, but Machinek receiving some hits right there. He's going forward a little bit, but AP cannot afford to lose more hit points because they are now down by almost 1k, and they are down cap points as well. R3TI just need to defend. TVPs can get the spots in. Charlie seen. Great job there. Trying to get spots up. Good shot into Ernest. Bouncer shot from Ernest. That's a trade that R3TI's doing. R3TI's doing all the right stuff right here. And Charlie Seen does not want to be too overly ambitious. R3TI still hasn't dropped any more hit points, and this is a very good game for R3TI so far. But you never know. Oh, Machinek getting spotted, trying to run away. Good shell into Machinek. APA dropping more and more hit points. They're now down by 2k. And they're also down for 1 tank. Will they do the Serenity? Which is, they try to push at a very late time, trying to get 1 kill and maybe that B base. I have no idea what's going to happen, but that could only be the thing that APA could do right now. Not a lot of options on the table. And they could only snatch it with kills and a temporary B cap reset. And then capturing A will be very hard because R3TIs, they have tanks over there. And if APA decides to make a push, R3TI can make a push and capture A. Well, good shot into Yennefer here. And I don't know, APA are really struggling. They are losing more and more hit points. The R3TI's forces, the T110E5s are there to get to pincer them. APA have few options here. They need to make a move sooner or later. If they don't, it's going to be over for APA. They are now making a move. They're going for B. I think R3TI needs to make a push on A. Marcinek is there to stop that from happening. But no, I think R3TI might be doing a counter push onto Marcinek. And A is going to be captured by R3TI, but very quickly, AP is trying their hands on B. With Marcinek now down, A is free for R3TI. And now focus will be on B. Look at R3TI trying to focus on the tanks on B. But fuck, getting a little bit too overextended. He died as well. R3TI just needs 50 more cap points and they will win this one. B is now captured by APA, but would that be enough? It won't be enough. R3TI got that second game. Well done to R3TI and APA. Losing. Visnia and that 215B really put a huge dent into APA. And after that, losing more and more hit points gradually. R3TI setting up good positions to defend both A and B, and that's a really good game from R3TI. And APA can't do much, could only do half the damage as R3TI. And boy, I was wrong about the triple TVPs, but that could be the reason why that 215B got killed in the first place. But that was such a brilliant game by R3TI. And Alpenstadt, it's a totally different map to the maps we've been seeing tonight so far. Previously, they're all medium maps, and Alpenstadt is a kind of a mix between medium and light, medium and heavy, I must say. You have the middle side, which is really good for the very heavily armored heavies, and but on the other hand, you have the northwestern area and the southwestern area with loads of terrain that makes it good for mediums to work with and hold down heavies. On the other side, southeastern corner, a little bit of terrain being held down heavies would work really well, but maybe not the mediums because it's a smaller area and it's easy to shut you down basically in that area. So I expect both teams to take a combination once again of mediums and heavies and also hold down heavies. I mean, heavily armored heavies and heavy and hold down heavies. So you're going to see a mix of these three tanks. APA with a mouse by Marcinek, double Kronwagens by Manfak, and the Witcher double T110E5s by Visnia and Kievnika, Yennefer and Kievnika and Ernest, double projectiles. R3TI on the other hand, double VE100, double Kronwagen, double T22 and a WZ13. This is an unorthodox lineup you're seeing here, and prove me wrong once again, R3TI, but they sadly do not have the hit point pool lead, although they are taking double E100 and double Kronwagens, and I think that is because projectors have more hit points than the T22, and WZ13 doesn't have a lot of hit points as well. So APA with this setup going mostly to the corner side. Meanwhile, R3TI are committing most of the forces into C. So R3TI and APA, obviously north side has a better advantage in getting the caps, not the south side. I think APA would not get a cap lead in this one. And this is going to be the case. C is going to be captured by R3TI very, very quickly, and with 3 3 tanks on C. I think that will give the information for the APA to get A without any trouble at all. I mean, why not? Because 3 tanks, very likely if there are tanks on the other side, that's going to be very isolated, and I mean, they're going to get A, obviously. And that will put B, the cap that needs to be defended. And it's all about R3TI setting up the crossfire and positions, and B will need to be taken care of because APA would want to get B, but they might not go for B because R3TI will be getting all their hands on there. And Charlie Scenery took a hit, actually double tap from the double projectiles, meaning R3TI will be down by 1k. That's not a good start for R3TI though, because they really want to defend, and they have the caps, but they don't have the hit points so far. APA can relish about that and start to figure out on rotation. Obviously, what you do in the situation, I'm not sure why Machinek is part of the rushing flank, part of the tanks rushing through the flanks. In my opinion, that tank would be there to go for B right after a push is initiated on the other flank. And that is what we saw with, I think, ENT, if I remember correctly. No, Feast. Feast did that. They have rushing. They have a rushing formation from their own spawn, which is the red team, and going into C first, and then they sent 2 tanks onto B. And Feast won that game in the end with that kind of move, and APA could do exactly the same thing. And APA is not really allowing R3TI to do any damage, unlike last game on Vineyards. And R3TI is really struggling. They're trying to blind fire bushes and see if they can hit anything, but so far they are not hitting anything. Forever Green still looking at me. I'm not sure. This is going to be really hard. Machine Neck will be looking to get B later on. APA is lined up for a push. Cap push are taking into 640 mark for R3TI. Pansuke spotted, but he could be isolated, so he needs to play it really cautiously. Still, loads can happen. I have no idea what's going to happen. This seems to be really slow, but could become really exciting in the next minute or so. We're now on to 700 cap points for R3TI. No action has been done from APA yet. They are very patient. They are waiting for that opportunity. I think they will rush on B, by the looks of it. They have tanks there. 600, Ernest saying 600, I don't know what he's talking about. But apparently APA would be all going for B by the looks of it. I'm not sure R3TI has the tanks to reset that. I have a bad feeling about R3TI at this moment. Not sure. Because if APA gets a cap, and if they can kill a tank, APA will win that win this match. But it's all on R3TI to defend. It's all on R3TI to defend. And APA, if they don't do a move right now, they could lose. And now they're doing the move, they're all going to be. I think a lot of things will happen in the next minute or so. Machinek leading the way in that mouse. Is he fine? He's fine. The Vi side on. Forever Green. Oh dear, what is R3TI doing here? I thought they are prepared for this, but no, they are really unprepared for that maneuver with APA going all into B, and now there are 2 caps for APA with only 1 cap for R3TI. I think only R3TI needs to kill 1 tank, and they really need that kill because APA is going to overtake R3TI in terms of caps. They found Sinkievnika isolated, but they also find the double D100 very isolated as well. R3TI just only need 50 cap points, and E100 just need to survive 10, 5, and 5 more, and they got it. R3TI got it. APA timed it way too late with Sinkievnika horrendously isolated there. And once again, that was for R3TI. And you would wonder, you'd be wondering why, you'd be wondering what's going on with APA right there. Sinkievnika only did 0 damage, and I thought R3TI, their lack of focus on B would cost them the game, but the bigger problem is with Sinkirovnika trying to push alone. And R3TI realized that and just shut down Kirovnika very quickly. And then when APA wants to push those E100, it was way too late, and E100 has so many hit points and they are not focusing on one single tank, and that handed R3TI the important victory they desperately need, and they are through to the quarterfinals and they will be facing Endgame, I presume. So wow. What a game it is by both APA and R3TI. APA starting out really strong. And sorry I missed like half of that match. But R3TI, once again making a comeback after being 1-0 down. So only APA in my heart. But I think APA, I think they got a good idea. But I think Sinkirovnika kind of acted alone. And I don't think that was a good idea right there. So if Sinkirovnika actually pulled back a little bit and focused their forces onto U100, I think they can win that game, and R3TI would lose that. So well done to both teams, and another long game it is, and ooh, boy, it's such a good game, such a good night so far. And unfortunately, my game just crashed. I will restart the game. So both Fidget and Mnet will be streaming the same match. But let's head over and look at other results in the round of 16. Okay, Endgame are through. They have beaten Kraken Esports 2-0. Alright, on the other hand, Shadow vs Zenith, we're still waiting. Zenith has lost to Shadow 1-2. And that would be a very important result for Shadow. Right here, Locust versus Team are through to the next round, beating Drink 2-0 so far. They haven't even lost a single match. Loca are on their way for to a Grand Slam, and if they could do it, that would be really good indeed. Next we have IW versus Raid. It will be Raid winning against IW 2-0. Next we have Rackham versus Sia, and Rackham won. And that would put Rackham through to the round to the quarterfinals, and they will face Raid next. POG versus Gravitas team Porkers. 2-0 for Gravitas team, and they are through to the quarterfinals. And finally we have BPS against Serenity, or the Macaputes against Serenity. It's going to be Serenity winning against Macaputes 2-1. It's another win that Serenity needs, and so far it means Macaputes will be getting top 8 tonight, and Serenity would still be in the first place for now. And that game will be streamed by every Names Taken. I'll be streaming R3TI vs Endgame. Exciting games ahead. Raid vs Record will be followed by Mnet and Fidget. Shadow vs Loca. Shadow would be in the top 8, I think, for tonight. And well, I didn't expect that to happen, but so far they haven't really proven themselves against the most of the teams in the top 16, apart from Zenith. So you'll never know. Will they get top 8 in the end? It will be hard to tell, but it will be quite a damning feat, to say the least. Nope, there are no rewards for watching this stream. No. No Kagan, no, you don't get any keys. So, sorry about that. But not sorry, but not really sorry. Leaderboard would look like that for now. Top 8, we have Serenity APA Rackham coming in the 3rd place, Endgame A1M1 IW BPS Shadow, and then we have Veil BPS Zenith Raid R3TI, and following closely behind Clear, who might break into the top 16 if they win against Shadow, which is very likely, I would say, and they really need that because they are now down from the 8th place by more than by around 1,000 cups. It was perfect gameplay. I would say not the most perfect gameplay, but they have made the winning move, which is to kill off the isolated Sinkiernika. AP did the right move to rotate, but not Sinkiernika. I think he acted alone, and it was not a good move there. But if we take that out of the equation, I think AP would win that one. I'm not sure if AP went into the too late. I think they've calculated it, but I don't think. I think if they have taken one more tank, then they will win. I don't think it's too late. It's just losing Sinkiernika was not the part of the game plan. They shouldn't lose that tank. It is really the tank that if they could keep, it would have been a lot different. The stream will finish in well, it's going to take a while for the stream to finish. So here we are. Well, let me change the overlays before I forget once again, and I'm just going to miss too much of the games.
I'm here where endless meets the end. Do you see me? I'm hidden here again. Your whispers found its way, calling me to stay. I'm standing at the edge, but something always brings me back. All the voices in my head reminding me of what I have. If I fall tonight, you can bring me back to life. If I fall tonight.
Okay, room should be up very quickly. So, overlays are done, dealt with. R3TI against Endgame. So R3TI so far has been very impressive tonight, overturning both Veil and also APA after being one down, and you will never know if they could do it once again against Endgame or if they're going to do a 2-0. You will never know, but Endgame is a very, very strong contenders for winning the entire season, so this is the biggest challenge for R3TI yet, but the sky is their limit actually. If they I mean, they have so far been performing brilliantly tonight. Port Bay is a map that is quite different depending on which side you go. The northeastern side is marked with a lot of terrain and a lot of areas that you can hold down, particularly that corner in the northeastern corner. Such an important spot in randoms. If no one's going there, then you will get farmed from that area, and that is why mediums need to at least go to that corner if they want map control there. And usually the south spawn is more advantageous over the north spawn when you go pass through a point, and then you just can go hold down and tackle with the tanks near from the north spawn, near the north spawn. On the other hand, if you want to go for both A and B, it's totally flat. So heavy, super heavies would be the tank's favorite here, and you would see quite some bouncers in this situation, 1 or 2, and that would suggest that the team is going for both A and B. So I think so I think this is one of the maps that you probably would know where the enemy is going to go depending on the lineup they're taking. And with R3TI going with lots of hold down heavies, you probably would expect them to go for C. With Endgame also taking something similar, they probably will also go for C as well. So I expect both teams to be going for C. Maybe 1 or 2 tanks going for B for cap reset, something like that. And that would be very important. You want some cap control. And if you totally ignore both A and B, you probably might need to do a rotation from C, and that sometimes can fail because you need to go out in the open in order to rotate. And we will see how both teams are going to work in this situation. Quadruple Crown Bargains by both Charlie Scene, Monstercat, DRD, and Tomka. Orange Tomato in the double T125s and Eki. Mark Spitty in the Vickers Light. We have Endgame with double Crown Vargas by Caroline and Toby. Double T175 by Hollow Purples known as Leakenlade and Romka. Amid, I don't know. It's in the IS4, is it? Whoopsie. I have no idea. Let me just check through Blitz stars. No prizes for you, Karen. Here we are, Amid. Yeah, I think the Donkey is just playing with you. Toby in was previously from Ray, but we are now on to Port Bay. And Amid was previously Chocolate, not whoopsie. So Chocolate is in the IS4. Can R3TI do the unthinkable and win against Endgame? But Endgame really needs that win because they're so far trailing at the edges of the top 8, if I remember correctly. And let's head up high with R3TI, red team, north spawn, Endgame, blue team, south spawn. Endgame are mostly going into C, but R3TI, on the other hand, I was wrong about that, is going to A instead. Some tanks are going for C, but I mean, if you go and see where Eki's going to take, he's going to take a relatively defensive spot. Well, but Spitty already took a hit, trying to get A, so he's not going to do that, so he's going getting out of it. Endgame would be getting C, and would they be challenged in getting C though? R3TI has set themselves up to reset C, but so far they have been successful in resetting C, particularly when Winch is on the left side of the circle, and they're putting the wrong eggshell. Toby would only receive not a lot of damage. In that crowd bargain, that's minimal. So it's all on R3TI to make a rotation now, and Endgame is leading in hit points. But the problem with Endgame's lineup is that they are very, very spread out. So if R3TI realizes that Endgame could be in trouble, but on the other hand, Endgame can push on the other side instead. And with the double T20 stare to kind of get spots in, R3TI pushing into C would not be a good idea at all. Endgame would know that, and they will respawn. So I'm not sure how R3TI is going to respawn, and R3TI aren't able to get one cap, and that would mean they need to make an action sooner or later, and that leaves them the only option, which is to kill all 7 tanks. No prizes, not that I heard of. So, R3TI. Oh, I think he's just joking. Now, orange tomato is going into A. And he's going to get A. He's spotted there. So will Endgame make a push on C? I don't think that would be a good choice because they only spotted 1. They don't want to make a terrible move. Endgame is playing this really passively. So you guys did get keys and boxes. I didn't know that. Thank you for that. Pad does. I'm very sure they were playing with you. So far Endgame still the cap lead, but by quite a big margin. Really, R3TI they could only kill all 7 tanks, not even getting B. And I think Endgame will be diverting their attention on B because B is not getting captured out in the open. And C, they are close to C, so they can absolutely turn around and deal with that. But that also wears Endgame's defensive lineup really, really thin. So R3TI needs to make a gamble here. I think if they could be decisive and shut down one side, they would have the advantage. But Endgame would not let that happen that easily. So Endgame is really playing into R3TI's lack of confidence, hesitation in the rushing. And will R3TI fall into this trap? We'll find out really soon, but R3TI is now focusing their focusing their forces onto C, and they are leaving A right out in the open. They're abandoning A, and Endgame is making a tactical rotation. Oh dear, that got really sad for R3TI, I would say. Endgame is acting more quickly than R3TI here. And I'm not sure that's Winchellate would be very important in that corner here, but I think Endgame's not diverting their attention to the double crown Vargans, and that would be really important because these 2 crown Vargans are isolated. Look at Endgame piling up, rushing Pencil Case. He's no more, and he's the first tank down. Next tank down will be Charlie C, and I don't think R3TI can do anything apart from trying to get C, and Endgame are now up by 2 tags already, 880 cap points, and Orange Tomato is trying to deal with Winchellate, but I think it's too late. Max Spitzy cannot run away. Endgame is looking for Max Spitzy, and what can they do in this situation? I don't know. Endgame is totally controlling this, and Max Spitzy will be going down to Romka very soon. It's now down to 1 shot, and Endgame is just looking to kill off Spitzy, and it's going to be over for R3TI for now, with Winchellate now 1 shot potentially. Spitzy's now down. This is certainly going to Endgame. Very strong performance by Endgame, just acting before R3TI's making that rotation. That is simply brilliant, beautiful, well calculated, I must say. And Endgame just outplaying R3TI in every aspect. R3TI were left with no option but do a rotation, and I don't think they are seeing that coming. Endgame doing counter move on in the middle, shutting those 3 tanks down quickly in succession, and that was a very good counter rotation by Endgame, and that is what we are seeing. That's what I like from Endgame. Very strong performance indeed. And we are going into the second game of Port Bay. Oh. Okay, so APA would not want to do an interview tonight, so that doesn't matter. Someone's getting a little bit desperate in knowing whether there will be rewards. No rewards. I want to reiterate, there are no rewards. Diggy Donkey is lying, okay? There are no rewards. He's playing with you. God. Now we're on to the second game of Port Bay. R3TI. Will they start a comeback once again? But they're taking double 1-1-3s. Interesting lineup. The problem with 1-3, a little bit lack of HP. Traverse speed is absolutely awful, but they have good DPM. The accuracy is not really good though. But I mean, equally, Shocklade's taking an IS-7, so that kind of balances things out. So, wow, this is going to be really interesting to watch. So R3TI with Chai Scene in the E100, double T22 by Max BT and the RD, double T125 by Iki and Tomka, double 1-3s by Orange Tomato and Panzer K's Endgame are made in the Shocklade in the I7, double Crown Vargas by Carolee and Toby, double T22 by Lost and Winch. Purple Nicolade in the T125 alongside Ronka. So with that kind of setup, you'll be expecting Endgame once again going to C, and R3TI looks more like an AB strat, but you never know, they are going to A. I mean, I'm saying that after they are going there, so fair enough. So R3TI, would they try and get a cap lead once again? I think they will be playing a little more cautiously, but they're just going plowing straight through for A, and they're going for B as well. No, they're just doing the RN stuff. Endgame going to get C. Potentially, they're spawning up no one, so they're going to get C. That will hand R3TI the cap lead this time. Oh, Panzer K is already getting shot there. Endgame are setting up their guns well. Carolee taking a hit, but would that be important? Oh, good shot from Charlie Scene, I think, into Carolee. Is that a bounce or is it not? Was it a shot from Orange Tomato? I don't know. Oh no, Amid in the IS-7 or Shocklade is taking some hits. Both teams aren't training very well at the start, and that could be a problem. But we will know very soon. Endgame is trying to make a rotation, so far R3TI is not allowing that to happen, but once again at the same time R3TI is very spread out, so Endgame just need to find out which tank they want to go for, which side they want to go for, and shut them down. The T22s are very juicy indeed, so if I were Endgame, I would go to R3TI spawn and shut them down like that. I mean, you can also play into those heavy tanks which might not have good accuracy at all, so if I were Endgame, rotating back to their spawn would be the thing they need to do. Tomka taking some hits there. They're also doing really well in chipping away the hit points of R3TI. That will give them more bargaining power when they want to make a rotation. I mean, already Endgame is making a rotation back to the enemy spawn. That is the exact call I'm telling you here. Endgame a little bit half-hearted in that, but I mean the T22s they can be taken out very quickly, and Endgame just going to pile up the pressure here. I think R3TI is in trouble. Endgame just need to gradually pressurize R3TI, and the second game would go to Endgame. Okay, so Endgame on the other hand are looking to shut down Tomka very quickly, and this is going to go from bad to worse for R3TI. Three tanks against one. Tomka, R3TI is still really isolated. I have a bad feeling about this. Tomka dropping the reactive arm, moving backwards. Oh, Mark Splitty took a really big hit there. Now R3TI is now down by 2k hit points. Are they able to survive? They are forced to hold in an open area. That's not always the best thing to do. R3TI still struggling to keep hold of Endgame's pressure, high pressure gameplay, and Endgame is gradually pushing the tanks in, chipping away hit points of R3TI, and Tomka is just trying to hold down right here, and Endgame, they just need to find and consolidate. They still don't have the cap points, however. R3TI are struggling with their positions right now. Endgame with better positions, and maybe they're going for B. If Endgame can get B, that will be well and truly over for R3TI. But I know R3TI is there to reset B there, but that reset 1-3s. I'm not sure what they're trying to do here. This is going to be really tricky. Holo Purple, let's go down to this perspective. You might want to go for B. A, I mean, But he knows he might get shut down very quickly if he does something like that. 800 points for both teams already. Endgame needs only one kill to swing it back to their favor. They so far haven't been able to find that kill. But they are now rushing into the T-22. T-22 is now in deep trouble now. They need to survive. Are they able to survive? I'm not really sure. B is now getting captured by Hollow Purple Nikolai. Oh, Armid is now a one-shot, however. Oh, what that one kill would be very important. Speedy is now dead. The RD just need to kill off Chocolate. But Hollow Purple has got B as well. And that gives Endgame substantial cap point advantage and hit point advantage. And that is well and truly over for R3TI. And with that kill on the RD from Winchelade, Endgame won that one. Really well done. Good control of tempo. Good high pressure strategy there. It is brilliant to watch. And it is going to be Endgame going into the semi-finals. R3TI, valiant effort tonight, beating both Veil and APA on the way 2-1, succumbing to Endgame in the end. But well done to R3TI, to Endgame. And R3TI, we have Icky joining us in the voice chat very soon in the interview. But I can safely say R3TI will be a very competitive team this season, just as I expected. And very good job indeed. And next we will be following Endgame, and we'll soon find out which team we're going to face. Either Serenity or BPS, the Gravitas team. They're still playing at the moment. On the other hand, Rackham against Raid. They lost to Raid 0-2. That means Raid are through to the semi-finals. And finally, Shadow against Loka. And it's going to be Loka 2-0 against Shadow. Very quick games indeed. And Loka are through to the semi-finals. Okay. So both Every and I will be streaming Endgame versus the winner of Gravitas or Serenity. On the other hand, Eminet and Fuji will be streaming both Loka versus Raid in the semi-finals. Oh, let's generate that bracket once again. But here we go. And let's update the leaderboard as well. Ready? Right, so here we go. Endgame now in the 3rd place, and we also have Loka jumping into the top 16 with 10,263 cups, and they really need that win against Raid. Raid still not in the top 8 yet, but they are now with 10,804 cups, and they can potentially overtake Shadow, who they finished 3rd tonight. So we will be waiting for that. GG's by Small Life. Good. So on the other hand, do we have results for Serenity versus Gravitas? Gravitas won Serenity 2-1, and that will put Gravitas team to the semi-finals. It will be Endgame versus Gravitas. And that is going to be over for Serenity. Okay, I have to give permissions. Okay. So I'm just going to do something behind the scenes for a moment. And yeah. One moment. And lion. Oh. Okay. Okay. Hello, Aki.
Hello.
Hello. How are you doing?
I think that you are quite okay after this tournament. It was a nice
Yeah, you're
day
lagging
for
quite
us.
a lot. You're lagging a bit. But I think you're now fine. But yeah, but congratulations on beating both APA and VE1L 2-1. I
Thanks.
think it was a very impressive achievement indeed. I mean, both of these you were losing 1-0 at the start, only to win 2 games in the end. So really good comebacks you have done, achieved. Yeah, so glad you're happy about the results tonight. So in terms of the teams that you want to face and you don't want to face, what will be the teams that you want to face and the teams you don't want to face?
I mean, every team from like top 4 is just what we want to avoid. But I think that especially APA and VE1L, we feel that also, although they are better than us, but we think that they are also still playable, kind of.
Yeah.
Then the Rakem is, I mean, we lost every tournament battle against Rakem, but still the games are quite close when you play them.
Sure.
And I mean, yeah, again, EG is it's just too much for us.
I mean, Endgame was very strong in the last 2 games on Port Bay, so I think you guys would learn something about that, and hopefully that would mean you guys can beat Endgame in the next one. Hopefully.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
maybe, but I don't think so.
Well, I mean, the sky is.
I mean, in the
sky's the limit.
in the second game, we at one point kind of lost map control, and we got into crossfire from their T22s when they reached our spawn, which cost us some HPs on the E5 on their spawn, which was then, I mean, yeah, that was unfortunate. And the first game, we just didn't know what to do. There was some ideas to repush Steve fast, but he wasn't sure, and then in the time we pushed, it was just too late. So there was
true. I mean,
no chance.
I think you got an idea here. But I think it was really Endgame outplaying you by doing something before you initiate the push. They counter push you first, and that really won them the game in the end. So
yeah, for sure. But overall, I think that this day was kind of relief for us after the first tournament where we had quite easy groups and we weren't able to get as much points as I think we should, especially in the second day of the last tournament where we lost in the first round.
True.
But I mean, yeah, this
at the
kind of helped
moment
for us.
Yeah, I mean, at the moment you are leading the 17th place by around 600 cups, so at least you got some cushion for the third previous Q tournament, but you never know. But the last questions, I remember you talked about expectations for this season. But what do you want to achieve for this season?
Probably top 10. I think it's like We were 12th last season,
Right.
so the top 10 would be nice improvement. Obviously, top 8 would be great, but I think that top 10 is much more possible. Yeah,
I see.
I mean,
Sure indeed. You got some fans over here on the stream.
nice.
So, thank you very much for the interview, and hope you have a nice evening. And thank you for joining
Thank
in.
you.
Good
Yeah.
night to you.
Yeah, you too. Bye.
Bye. Alright, I'll be joining Airy very soon. I think we only have 9 minutes left, so. Hopefully, we still have time to talk about games before endgame. Because we only have 9 minutes left, so hopefully you will join. Hello, Airy.
Hello there, Jack.
Hello. It was a tense evening for me. Really good evening. From R3TI, although they succumbed to Endgame 02, they
Yeah, I want to hear about that. They went on a roll, taking
Yeah.
down those two teams there.
True. I mean, they both of these games they made a comeback. They both of these games they lost the first game and then they won two consecutively, and that was very impressive indeed against two top 8 contenders. R3TI really went off their comfort zone tonight, and that was really good to see.
Definitely. But yeah, I
So-
mean, yeah, go ahead.
What about you? About Serenity?
Serenity has been fantastic tonight. I think what ended up happening is maybe a bit of exhaustion near the end,
Right.
because they had to play 3 tiebreakers in a row.
Oh man.
I don't remember about the first game, but in both after they were down the first game and then had to win 2 in a row. So that is not easy, especially since they also didn't have the easiest opponents.
True.
So they played really well tonight.
Mhm.
I think the last game really just went down to BPS was so strong.
Yeah.
With their team, with their layout, just the way they played on Black Gold, that there was, I don't know what happened specifically, but I think they were just split too much. If you would watch the match, that's exactly what happened. But
Right.
Serenity showed again why they won the first previous skill. They played so well tonight,
Yeah.
and I'm happy for
mean,
them.
Very happy for them. I mean, although they exited the quarterfinals, I mean they're currently with 30,082 cups, like more than 2,000 cups away from the 9th place, and I think they would be very happy about that lead, that comfortable lead they have. Although they still have to qualify the next few previous skill tournaments, and once again, as I said, the seeding won't be in their favor, so they need to make use of every opportunity they have to,
Sure.
keep hold of their position
yeah.
in the top 8. But they are very strong. I agree with you, and it would be
Yeah.
a shame if they aren't in the top 8 in the end, because they
Sure.
really deserve to be in top 8.
I think they might not be fully happy with the results of today, because they, as you said, dropped out quarterfinals. But I think they should be happy with the games that they played today. They were really well done. Most of these tiebreakers were very clinically played, very well executed. They had such good teamwork. Focus fire was really on point as well today.
Mm.
It was just such a fun time to watch them play.
Very
And
true indeed.
BPS, I mean, they had to play both back to back as well,
Mm.
which also isn't easy. Really put up a good fight. Managed to clear the first one, but then I guess the second one was too much of a hurdle. And
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it, especially against Endgame, which is not the easiest opponent to play against. So looking forward.
No, not at all. Looking forward for that. And I mean, Gravitas team, they're currently in the top 8, and they really want to grind the result against Endgame. But Endgame also needed that result, because the first day they went out in the round of 32 because of unforeseeable circumstances. So they really want to perform really well tonight. But also on the other half of the semi-finals, both Lucas and Raid currently not in the top 8, so both of these teams really want to perform really well.
I think
tonight.
especially Loka wants to.
Especially Loka,
even more so.
because they lost out on the first day due to being drawn against Serenity. And that was very unfortunate, I must say.
Yeah. Looking forward to it, probably.
I'm really looking forward to that, and the room is up. Let's get real on Rockfield.
Yeah, we are. Rockfield is not a favorite to most teams, but what are you expecting here from these teams?
Rockfield is perceptionally quite small to an extent, and I think it really depends. What, you don't agree?
No, I agree with that it's relatively small.
I mean, perceptionally small. I think Wargaming said that all maps have the same size, but I think Rockfield is
huge mountains, right? They take up so much of the map. Yeah,
the mountains really take up quite a lot of space. So, because there is a lot of terrain, I will be expecting quite a number of hold down tanks. But at the same time, IS-4 is still viable with the flat ground near A and down B. But most of the attention will be on those mediums and lights to get the information for the team, and especially in the mid to late game phases, sometimes good positioning would mean that you're able to spot the enemies rotating, and that could be very important for the team who has the cap lead, and the one who doesn't have the cap lead would need to work really hard in deciphering the other team's setup.
I agree on that. Also, I've watched a recent endgame play on Rockfield, which was when I followed them. I don't remember who they were up against, but surprising to me, there's still some boosts and climbs that have been used in that game against them.
Sure.
The team didn't manage to win, but considering that is still possible, it will be interesting to see if we're going to see future implementations of that. But endgame has been very aggressive on Rockfield usually.
Right.
Mostly near the C cap, because that's the most convenient to be aggressive on. Because A is very good for defensive play, with that bunker, with all these ridge lines, with the gap especially. So it's going to be interesting, seeing as how they have 3 E5s though. I'm expecting aggression.
But at the same time, endgame so far, the games I've been streaming on Port Bay, they are playing it really cautiously and very carefully. Maybe endgame is going to do a completely different style here, but we never know. But then it's always a good thing when a team is unpredictable in whether they're going to use a defensive strat or an offensive strat. And maybe the endgame would do something defensively here, but all the time on Rockfield we see a lot of encounter on that C side, and I mean loads of examples. So the one I can recall is Loka versus Raid, where Loka won with better focus fire and rotation. So when we see a lot of action on C, I will be very interested.
C usually is the one that gets more action, even if both sides are played, just because you can just play around a lot more with the area, whilst A is heavily limited. Even if it has B relatively near to it comparatively. But the amount of angles you can take, the amount of just hold down spots, or just surprises that you can pull out of the C side just makes it a lot more favorable. Even for traps alike that we've seen in previous seasons. I don't actually know, I think it was Raid who did that before with like 4 E5s just waiting. Who then got pushed into, which worked out fantastic for them. So it's really all about how do you play this map, and I mean like all maps and not just the lineup. But I mean they're playing something similar here, so we'll see.
I mean we are seeing BPS going with double Crown Wagons, double T110E5, one IS4, one T22, and Vickers Light endgame, double Crown Wagons, triple T110E5, an IS4 and a Vickers Light. So BPS going with one more light and medium. It's going to be very interesting. So.
Enjoy the commentary and
enjoy as well. So we'll see you soon.
See you.
Bye. So that was Ari with me, or Peter with me. On talking about this game, both Endgame and VPS or Gravitas team. Very interesting games indeed. And Wargaming just you need to fix your clan tag up top. It's still wrong. Why is it DQR? For Gravitas team, it's not correct. And here we go. BPS Kuma from North. It's going to go to that spot, to spot endgame, near their spawn. He's going to get a lot of information potentially. He spotted up Holo Purple and Ronka and also Winchellade, and he's getting out of this safely. On the other hand, Ronka is looking for C, and Akaji Kill in that T125 will be looking at C, but C is going to be captured by endgame safely. They don't have any tanks. Usually, if you want to reset C, this is possibly a position you can take, but Gravitas are not putting any tank here, potentially because when you get spotted, you might get crossfired quite easily, so that may be the reason why. But that would leave Gravitas team to be the one to make a move. But they are looking to get both A and B now. Evil Fantasy, also known as Zerd, is not having any trouble at all capturing B. Land game, Romka's going to peek out, is trying to reset Evil Fantasy, and he does reset Evil Fantasy with an heat shell, I think. Evil Fantasy is not able to capture B, however, and neither does Akuma and Cleo trying to get A. But unfortunately, I think they are in trouble because there are 3 tanks against 2, especially when 2 of them are heavy tanks. Gravitas team are in deep trouble, and Endgame is just chasing them out, and that means Endgame has a substantial cap lead, with Romka now getting pushed though, but I'm not sure if it's going to be enough. Romka dropping the reactive armor, he's going to go down, and he's going to go down safely, and Akajiku is actually going to be reload the first time down potentially. Last AFK and Akajiku dropping the reactive armor, important timing there, and I'm not sure this is going to be really close to call. Akajiku is now down, Evil Fantasy now down, and Toby in that reactive armor looking for Mark Ghosty, and so far Endgame is doing much better than trading, and focus fire Mark Ghosty is now a one-shot now. 2 one-shots with Mark Ghosty now down. Kuma from North going down quite quickly in succession. Toby is looking for Kami, Norka is also looking for Kami, and Gravitas team just way too isolated with those tanks not so well connected, and AkiGQ has some terrible packet loss and ping issues, and that is not a really strong performance by Gravitas team. Cleo is taken out by Winchellade, Endgame just mauling Gravitas team at the moment without any mercy at all. And Gaseo Jones is the last man standing, and that means it's going to be Endgame winning the first game with more than 10,000 hit points remaining altogether. And that is a very lackluster performance by Gravitas team so far. AkiGQ doing 0 damage because of internet issues, so you can't really fault him for that. But Endgame just very commanding, very ruthless indeed, and Rockfield, they have to do much better. The Gravitas team, maybe AkiGQ would be switched out, I would never know. Sorry, it's Endgame, not Gravitas team. And is it going to be the case? AkiGQ is going to spectate. Premo Throated is going to play. I forgot which NA player that was, but Akami was from the NA server. I think he is in Pincer, if I remember correctly, or is it from Apex? I can't remember. Well, my ailing memory is not helping at all. But then game is going for quadruple T125s, no, triple T125s instead, with Shocklade, Last, and Romka taking these tanks. Holo Purple, also known as Shocklade, taking the Crown Fang alongside Orca. Toby IS4, Winchellade, because like BPS or Gravitas team. Evil Fantasy in that IS4, probably. Or not. Gaseo Jones and the Crown Fang alongside Kami. Cleo in the T22, Ghosty in the T125 alongside Tremel, and Kuma from North in the Biggest Light, and Zerd in the 268. We see sometimes 268 on Rockfield because it's somewhat open, and we saw it with HSOP unleashing a lot of damage in that 268, so it can rework. We have to see whether it's going to be the case. And let's head up high, shall we? Gravitas team, blue team north spawn against endgame red team south spawn. Endgame is going to commit to A potentially, and also to C. Meanwhile, Gravitas team is on the south north spawn, going mostly to A and B. Cleo going for B very quickly, and that would hand Gravitas team the cap lead. Rob could go for C, puts a good shell into Koolman from north, trying to run away before he can take more damage. But Gravitas is going to get B without any trouble at all. Endgame will be the one that needs to make the rotation. They have so far around 2k hit point advantage. That is very healthy here. Ooh, Gaseo Jones receiving a big hit right there down in the middle. Not part of the game plan, I would say, but that is really grim for BPS right now. They're trying to pressure endgame. Although I don't know why, because they do not have the hit point pool lead, but they have the cap lead. They probably think that Toby is isolated, but very quickly, Gaseo Jones is going to be isolated, so endgame, I'm not sure, BPS might be able to get something out of this, but the hit points are still firmly in favor of a BPS, and Toby is finally down, but it's now 6 vs 6 with BPS a lot more hit points. Cleo going into endgame's forces without any mercy at all. He wants to get Winchley out of this game, and Ghosty is now really low. He's now killed, and they're trying to kill off Winchley. Winchley is trying to get out of this situation, but next shelf player would do the job. Hit points are still in favor of endgame. And the next time they want to go for would be Kami, or with a good ram from last AFK into Kami. Prime is now really low. Endgame is really dominating here. And Hollow Purple is now killed by Evil Fantasies. Now 4 vs 5. Actually, it's not truly over yet for Endgame. They could still lose if they cannot put their shells in with last AFK with that terrible bounce. Oh my goodness me, 3 vs 4 suddenly. Gravitas team seems to be winning this one, but with last AFK, he needs to put a shell into Primal Proteins, and Primal Proteins staying back. Oh gosh, endgame is in deep trouble. Last AFK now down 2 vs 4. Endgame. Oh my gosh, this is a turnaround we're seeing. I have no idea how they managed to do it, but BPS will be looking to kill Chocolate, and he got killed, and it's now 1 vs 4 endgame. Despite leading by 3k, I think Gravitas team, that gamble worked really well. I was really doubting whether that would work, but it seems it really worked, with endgame really letting their guard down with the lack of focus fire, and Gravitas team really focusing the low hit point target first and really rotating out the low hit points. And it's going to be 1-1 for both teams. Endgame. Only 2 tanks doing more into 2k, but Gravitas team 5 tanks doing more into 2k held their breath, and they did not fluster. Well done to Gravitas team and Endgame. They cannot lose games like that, because that was so winnable with a substantial amount of hit points they lead. Gravitas team, despite that move, could come across as unnecessary for some people. It's actually the winning move, I must say. Shutting down the isolated tanks of Endgame first, Toby next, Winchelade, and really punishing whoever is bouncing the shells. With last AFK, that crucial bounce would have changed matters a lot. Gravitas team now taking double 50Bs, and also double T110E5s, double projectors, and a Crown Vargan endgame. Going with Crown Vargan, double T110E5, another Crown Vargan, and last AFK in the T22, Toby in the Ice Wall, and Winchelade AMX 50B. On the other hand, do we see any results for Raid versus Loka yet? It's going to be still playing for both Raid and Loka, so probably they're going into a tiebreaker as well. And this is going to be really close, really tight. And before I continue that, I muted myself, so what on earth? I have to remember to unmute myself when I finish my biscuit, so. Oh man, that was embarrassing. So I think it's just the last game, isn't it? Right, you didn't really catch my commentary on Ronka. So we only have around 10 minutes left. Look, 11 minutes, but no, 30 minutes left. So actually, quite a lot of time. If I say I will do some analysis, then. So I mean, the last game, what I was saying is that Raid tried to push onto Ronka with a lot of tanks, but Endgame was using Ronka as a bait, pretty much, and Ronka pulled back, allowed Raid to get into crossfire, and meanwhile they had the double projectors sitting behind the rushing maneuver, and Endgame made use of that opportunity to shut down those two projectors, and they won the game. In the end, well done to Endgame there. Brilliant reading right there. Avery will be streaming the match for the third place. That will be that would be Loka versus BPS. Okay, so because we still have some time, we will do the analysis. Oh, is it not enough? 10 more minutes. I think that would not be a good idea. Actually, so let's forget about that, and let's actually look at the what's going on tonight's coverage. And we Fujit and I will be streaming the finals with every following the match for the third place. Once again, the previous Q tournament format, we have all games played in the best of 3 series. That is whichever team that wins the first 2 matches will win the fixture. The format is a single elimination knockout stage with the match for the third place. The tournament is seeded by the average of the win rate of the 7 best players in the team, and a team earns the number of cups depending on where they finish, and the leaderboard ranks teams in the descending order of cups. Top 8 would advance to the professional tournament, and 9th to the 16th place would advance to the challengers tournament. 1 to the PYS tournament is spread across 2 consecutive days. We are on the second day with at most 32 teams in one group, and all games are played in supremacy mode. Here are the number of cups you are seeing here. stop spamming. I have unmuted my microphone, so this is the timeline for you. Professionals and challengers tournament. I muted my microphone because I was eating a biscuit, and you do not want to hear me eating my biscuit, so you know. In around 8 minutes, it will be the finals. And the lineup is not important, so here we go. I will wait. Good. Blue. I missed my very good commentary on the Mind Ruins. That's sad. So while we wait, we can also see the bracket for the NA server, and that will be streamed by both Fuji and Fishy. And here's the NA bracket. We have MM versus SVG, Eclipse versus Coast, and Apex versus Purple, Rain versus Zero Gravity, Rival versus Surge, GG versus Jokers, and yeah, Sam, you really messed up versus Shadow, so you gave them some cups, so I blame you for that. Pincer versus Void, and PPS versus Primal. Oh my gosh! Sam, you're still in top 16. What are you talking about? Don't worry, come on. I mean, also you're also in the top, in the round of 16. That means you're basically in the top 16. So you really don't need to be. You don't need to be you don't need to be frightened, or you don't need to be worried about that. You've done what you've done what you could, although you could have done better, which is always the case. But it's always a good thing. I mean, at least you're in the top 16 anyway, so why not? On the Asia server, we have these teams here. Feast won against RN earlier today, and that was some really good matches. RN did really well tonight, earlier today, so I do recommend you to watch that stream again and see how RN played. That was brilliant. And other than that, we go back to this bracket. I'm just going to do a brief recap. We were following R3TI versus VE1L. R3TI won 2-1 after losing the first game. Same happened against APA. They also lost their first game and won 2 consecutively. And then they lost to Endgame 0-2, while Endgame won BPS 2-1. And here we are, they are going to meet Raid, who won Loka first team 2-1. And that was not very helpful for Loka at all. They are still sitting in the top 16, and they really need a lot of cops for the next few previous Q tournaments, and they are trailing IW by almost 1,000 cops. And you can expect all of the top 8 teams will be firmly in this. All these top 8 teams here you're seeing right now will be firmly will be in the next day. So on the next day, so basically you have to be ahead of some of these teams by quite a big margin in order to secure a top 8, and it's a really it's a big uphill battle for Loka right now. I'm sure they are very good. They can do it. At least they are better. They have won against Shadow 2-0, and that's always a good sign to see. And here we are. The room is up, I think. So we will go into the room. Yes, we are on Normandy. So Normandy, we have endgame with quadruple T125s potentially, but Normandy is a map that is very rugged. So hold down tanks are really strong on this map. You will see some lights and mediums because it's also, I mean, the terrain also helps these tanks to do hold down, and also really working with the terrain with the yeah, I mean, I know I'm talking nonsense, but it is what it is. So raid is still trickling in, and they will be in very soon. End game, we have Hollow Purple or Nicolade, Amid or Shocklade, Last AFK Ronka, Toby, Winchelade, and Walker here. Raid on the other hand, they have Blue, Naro, OG, Sick, Temon, and Onya so far. They're still waiting for one more player to join. Carolade and Radicosa will be spectating in this one. So, here we are, the lineup for both teams endgame. Triple T125s, double Crown Bargains, an Ice 4 and a Leopard 1 with Raid. Triple T125s, double Crown Bargains, a Leopard 1 and a 50B. And in 10 seconds. No substitutes for Raid's team. Here we are. Let's head up high, shall we, with endgame or the north spawn, blue team Raid, red team south spawn, and Winchelade is going to capture D very quickly in the Leopard 1, and we'll see what's going to happen next. Sick and that 50B going into this house. This bush right here is going to defend whoever's trying to go and rush C, but the first shot has been going into Naro for now. Yep, you guys are very close in cops, so Naro in that Crown Varg is going to do some hold down action, and it's going to get some spots in. Orca and Romka are both spotted. Misses from Naro. No, you guys got to the finals yesterday, isn't it? If I remember correctly, I might be wrong. I have to double check later. Raid is so far held down on B, near B. And still we don't know what's going to happen, but endgame so far has the cap lead, so it's all on Raid to make that move. And in this situation, the caps are going to take really slowly 3 points at one time. So Raid absolutely has a lot of time to get spots, to get information of where endgame, and they can figure out the weakness in Raid's in endgame's setup. The endgame's lineup, potentially the problem is that they're very spread out. And they have lost the AFK sitting alone there, but Raid, if they hesitate, they can get out farmed and endgame can rotate backwards. And to support last AFK and Raid, they need to time it well. They cannot hesitate and they need to be decisive. And Hollow Purple saying, look, shock. What? They won't see me. Oh, so Shock is okay, so Nicolade is tutoring Shock to get into a good position then. Oh, so what's going on with this exchange? I have no idea. But endgame's still holding because they don't need to make a move. Raid is the one that needs to make a move. And we're still in a stalemate situation. If I were Raid, really they need that OG to get spots, because Naro might, Naro could get some spots, to be fair. And Raid knows that the northeastern area is quite well fortified. So will we see a rotation? Will we see a movement, some moves from Raid to shut down Romka quickly? Because Romka can be quite isolated, but equally Winchellade has some shots to support Romka. And Anya is looking for Romka. I think he needs support from his teammates as well. Good HE shell into Romka. Romka's trying to capture A. It's not successful in doing so. Winchellade is not in position, but that was a bounce right there. Another bounce right there. Romka is very lucky, and I think Red is initiating a push, and they really need to do it now. And Romka once again getting it's not getting shot at. Raid was made to play. Making that move was not very good indeed. OG still at the back for unbeknownst reasons, and Raid, they're dropping hit points gradually, and endgame is really looking to shut down both Tamon and Sake. They're rushing with these 3 tanks here. Good shot into Tamon here. The last AFK puts a good shot to Sake. Sake is now very low. Blue receives a big hit somewhere else, but I mean, this is really much over for Raid. Sake is the first tank down, and Drizzle is looking for last AFK. And last AFK is the focus for Raid. On the other hand, with endgame, we're dealing with the middle side. And let's head over there for a brief moment, and I don't think that's good enough to watch because all the action is happening around here. Tamon is going to be killed by last AFK, and which means Nicolade wasted his shell, but that doesn't matter because Winchellade is there to help Drizzle. Drizzle is trying to get out of the situation, and he's tracked, and he cannot. It doesn't have another repair kit right there. And last AFK is trying to ram into Drizzle. Drizzle's the next time down, and endgame got A as well. That means if they don't kill all 7 tanks, they will still win by caps. And Anya's a one shot. So but Toby's killed. But that won't matter much because they only lost 2 tanks in the last few seconds. So absolutely Raid. That wasn't a very good push with endgame in control of the entire situation, and Naro just unable to put a shot into Orca, and poor Raid are unable to punish Ronka. I think 2 bounces and 1 miss was very costly for Raid, and endgame was just on top of the game. 5 tanks doing more than 2k. Raid, none of the tanks doing more than 2k. Not good enough for Raid here. And here we are, the second game of Normandy. We have endgame going with quadruple T125 with Shocklade, Last, Ronka and Toby. Winchellade in the Leopard 1. Double Crown Vargans by Shocklade and Orca. Raid are going with quadruple T125 by Anya, Drizzle, Sick and Tamon. Double Crown Bargains by Blue, and now with OG in that Leopard 1. So Raid needs to do better in terms of their shot effectiveness. Meanwhile, Endgame, really good control, good reading. They have been very good so far tonight, and I really don't think, I really think that it's very hard to beat Endgame tonight, and they have a really good night. And well done to Endgame and Raid. They would be happy for the performance tonight, but that could change for the second game. Endgame would need to make sure they don't lose focus, because if they lost focus, that is what happened to the second game on Rockview, that they lost 2 PPS despite a healthy hit point pool lead. Here we are. Let's hop into the next game. And it's going to be right, I think. Yeah, right. Let's have a high, shall we? Endgame, South Spawn, Blue Team, Raid, Red Team, North Spawn, Winchell going for C. And it's going to be Endgame once again with a cap lead. Raid going for B soon after, but Endgame have 2 tanks on C, 2 tanks for Raid as well. That's very good start for Endgame. And Raid, they are also once again looking for A. A is a very important cap. If they can get it, that will give them substantial cap lead. Nauro is trying to go for A, and Endgame, no one's there to reset A. Don't know why, but Raid will be getting A now, and Raid will get a cap lead this time. And Winchell arriving arriving late puts a shell into Drizzle. It's better than nothing, I would say. But Winchell will be putting another shell. Oh, receive a shell from Drizzle. Important shell indeed. Important shell. Endgame going into the ditch, into the crater, will get a lot of control over this area, but maybe they are going past that. Last AFK is taking some hits. Toby also taking some hits though. Toby might be doing a wrong move here. It's going past. He's going deep. Endgame needs to follow through. They are following it through, but Raid have a lot of tanks there. Support. I'm not sure if it's going to work. Raid, they have a healthy hit point pool lead by more than 1k at the moment in time. Toby puts a good shell to Sek, but Sek dropping the reactive arm. That is very important, but Chocolate, don't know if it's oh, he is toxic. He is really salty. Winch, apparently that was wrong call. I think I agree with him. It was a wrong call. Should not have rushed. Raid was totally prepared for that, and I don't think it's still over for Endgame. It's neck and neck. Hit points are neck and neck, and wow, Chocolate is really not happy with that move at all. It's not over yet though. Endgame is, well, it's now trailing by more than 1k. I think it's truly over, and really they really need to pick up. You know, they can't let the emotions run over them. And with Orca now, when Orca is now, Orca dead, leaving 3 tanks alive for Endgame, and Raid simply punishing that move. But I think it kind of precipitated when Winch. It's not Winch going for that move first. It is actually Toby pushing first. I'm not sure if he was asked by Winch to make a push, but nothing can be done in this situation. Raid will be heading into tiebreaker, and it's going to be 1-1 for both teams. Endgame misplay right there, agreed by Chocolate, and they need to pick back up the form. 2 tanks doing more than 2k for Endgame. Raid with 6 tanks doing more than 2k. Really good job from Raid. Totally prepared for that rotation, for that push. So, it's like our end, but like well countered by the other team. So well done to Raid. And finally, tiebreaker map. It's going to be Port Bay once again, and endgame. Last time when they were playing against R3TI, they approached this one very slowly. Will we see the same thing again this time? We will see very soon. And Raid going with double T22s by Onya and OG, double Crown Vagans by Blaster and Arrow, Drizzle in the T125, lots of Temon and Sick in the I7. Endgame with triple T125s by Shocklade, Romka and Toby, double Crown Bargain by Nicolade and Orca, and double T22 by Lost and Winchlade. Port Bay, once again, as I mentioned, 2 different sides would call for 2 different types of tanks. If we are talking about the sea side, the terrain would favor hold down tanks and mediums, and if you play a lot of random matches, you know Port Bay with that side near sea, you want to take that northeastern corner. Very helpful for me. Very helpful for farming for the medium tanks, and it's a better side from the south side. So I can imagine Raid would be going for that side with that kind of setup. Meanwhile, A and B side is relatively flat. Actually very flat, so you would be expecting some IS4s and also mouse play right there, and not a lot of mediums alike. So you can tell by the lineup they are taking where they're going exactly. And Port Bay is the next map. It's another map. It's a map like Camsteer, where it's possible to reset all 3 caps. Oh, Shocklade, really salty, and that's not really good. I hope it's just banter, but that was really uncalled for. They really need to focus right now, and they should deal with their grievances after this game. Raid, Red Team, if they win this one tonight, they will command a bigger lead in the top 8, with Drizzle now going into C, potentially more spots happening over to endgame side. Drizzle is looking for capture on C, but he couldn't really capture because endgame is also committing most of the tanks near C. Raid is stacking up, and so is endgame. And with T22 now holding the area, I have a bad feeling for endgame right now. Look at that, he can farm. Endgame with these double T22s at the back. Oh dear. Endgame might be losing map control right here. C is now getting captured. I think Raid does not want to lose unnecessary hit points. They have better positions in my opinion. Absolutely no need to try and capture C. You just get reset. You will get reset. So Taman's trying once again. Winchell's there to reset C once again, so it's not going to happen. Romka, unfortunately, it's not going to be interesting call, but he's just going from the backside, and really Raid is really giving up their positions. The T20s were in good positions already, not really making use of their position, good positions they are in. Blue is turning his attention onto Romka, but he bounces one shell there, puts his now shell in, but he receives a shell from Romka. Blue on the reload. Now Romka can make use of his DPM to kill off Blue, and the endgame is receiving some pressure by Raid, but Raid is down by more than 2k hit points, and this is a gamble from Raid with, oh my god, Tamon, big shot there. I think there was an ammo rack there. I cannot confirm, but it looks like to be an ammo rack. Sek is now down as well. Oh, endgame is really leading here. Blue is trying to kill Toby. Can he kill off Toby? No, he can't, but Drizzle kills him off instead. It's now 4 versus 4 with the T22 still alive, but it won't make a big difference because endgame is leading by more than 6k, and with Drizzle and Naro and on the high ground, would that even matter at this point? I don't know. 4 versus 5. Raid is really really on a back foot here. OG is trying to land a shell, but no, Nauru is dead. OG misses his shell, but Drizzle bounces his shell onto Chocolate once again. And OG is now dead with Drizzle and Onya now going to be the last two people left standing. And that was GG's from Raid, and Endgame held their ground well, chipped away Raid's hit points, punished whoever went a little bit too went out in the open a little bit. But I would say Raid almost got better map control. They just really lost some really unnecessary hit points with the training wasn't really good indeed, and Endgame and Blue wasn't really good with those shots into Romka, and that was a comfortable win for Endgame in the end. I thought that was going to be really close, and I thought Endgame was on the back foot there with those double T20s going to corner. I thought it was going to be game over for Endgame, but Raid really lost too many hit points in their positions. So well done to Endgame winning the second previous skill tournament. Raid settling for the second place, but they are firmly in the top 8, so that matters the most for them. So congratulations to both Endgame and Raid. And not much would be not much to be said apart from saying bidding my farewells to all of you. It's going to be 2-1 for Endgame. On the other hand, let's say the result of Loka versus Gravitas team, and Loka really need that win against Gravitas. Gravitas still in the top 8, but they also want that win, to be honest with you. So Loka lost to Gravitas 0-2, and that means Gravitas team would be getting the third place for tonight. Okay, so BPS has overtaken Rackham to get the 4th place with 11,768 cups. Serenity still in the 1st place with 13,082 cups. Loka in the 15th place with 10,263 cups. The top 8 is still going to be Serenity, Endgame, APA, BPS, Rackham, Raid, A1N1 and IW, with Raid coming into the top 8 after finishing 2nd tonight. Shadow dropping out of the top 8, losing to Loka, and also finishing 3rd or 4th. I think they finished 4th yesterday, losing to Tessios 0-2 if I remember correctly. So they are now in the 9th place, and if they don't do well in the 3rd proof of skill tournaments, they will drop further down the packing order. But Veil and BPS are lurking behind, and that would mean A1N1, Rackham and IW cannot let their guard down, and they need to play really well in the next few days. Loka, they still have an uphill battle to fight. 4th place might not be enough for them to close the gap with the top 8, especially when I mean A1M1 and IW are in the exited the round of 16. So, but then they only earned around. They only earned around 600 war cups, so they around 500 more cups. So they still need to do better than the 4th place, and hopefully Loka is able to catch up and get into top 8 in the end, because that caliber is really good indeed. Apart from that, I'm going to echo that for you to like this stream if you haven't already, and subscribe to my channel, and make sure to share the stream around and subscribe, and also share my channel around to your friends. Hopefully we get a lot more viewers in our next Premium Skill tournament. With that being said, it's been me, Monstercat, and all of you guys have a good night, and Fujit and Fishy will be following NA server tonight with Fujit on Jokers and on GG and Fishy on Jokers. I just have to double check. Yes, Fishy on Fishy on Apex and Fishy on Jokers and Blitz on Apex. Yes, so that being said, thank you all for watching. See you soon. Bye for now.